I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a shit about race at all. At all. I don't think about it. I don't look at people and see them as a race. I see them as my fellow American. And I know that that's very offensive to some. I know some people want you to be obsessed with race. They want you to be thinking about race 24/7.
Dude, she's so bitter. Like, what the f, dude? Steel yourself. Oh, Anna. Jesus. Where you been all my life, dude? Dude, oh shit. Anna. So Anna is taking us there, guys, chiming in on the incredible anti-white racism that oppressed people after we all watched George Floyd get murdered. Oh my God, dude. Here we go.
I'm personally not offended by this. I don't really care. But I know how devastating and toxic it is to a society. So, for instance, after the George Floyd protests happened and everything, there was this culture of people openly saying some pretty horrific things about, people with light skin. Just open racism against white people. And I know that sounds crazy because historically speaking, white people have been of privilege, right? But we're also living in a country right now where it doesn't matter if you're white, if you are a working class person, you're screwed. And how is it helpful to now do the reverse of the terrible, bigoted or biased comments? How is that conversation helpful? It's not.
I suppose, of course, and I hear you on that, but I suppose some other people might say, but within that working class, yes, the working class are screwed, but actually black people are the most screwed of that group, right?
Thank you.
Within that, it's not equally screwed. And
thank you. It's not even remotely equally screwed. Like, thank you for at least, providing us a slight thing of reason. But you'll notice though, guys, you will notice that Anna provided 0 receipts. No receipts. Okay, she told us about the anti-white racism, but to me, it's the tone deaf nature of her thing, right? Because talking about privilege is not being discriminatory at all. Talking about privilege is like recognizing systemic advantages. That doesn't even mean you're a bad person. I'm not a bad person because I exist in a white supremacist system that gives me advantages. I'm not a bad person. I mean, I suppose I might be a bad person if I wasn't aware that that was happening. And I just walk through life just gobbling up all of the shit while thinking everyone else is just lazy and not keeping up. Like, why aren't you keeping up? Why aren't you gobbling? Right? Why are you upset at me? I'm gobbling. You should be gobbling too. That's the kind of shit you do when you're unaware. But the fact that the system privileges me does not make me inherently a bad person. I don't have to be ashamed of it. It's just an awareness of it allows me to have empathy for people who aren't privileged. And at times I can use my privilege to help others. Now, her support of Tucker Carlson, this is like a natural off-ramp of the left-wing freeway that she's gonna take, right? I mean, anti-white racism is the off-ramp that Tucker Carlson has his little booth at. She is now fully arrived, but man, give me a break, dude. Bro. That shit pisses me off, bro. It does. It just really irritates me, man.
Similarly with affirmative action, your prospects as an Asian worker are not the same as a black worker. And that's, statistically backed up, that when you see the numbers on unemployment, when you see the numbers on people applying for jobs and actually being successful, that reflects also race in addition to class. I mean, do you feel that, because a lot of people, I suppose, on the right today are sort of within this idea of, white lives matter, that we shouldn't talk about race, that actually race is, like you say, an impediment to kind of coalescing around more important issues as they might see it. Like there's a sort of, I think, desire to go back to a colorblind world, which...
By the way, guys, only white people can be colorblind. You know what I'm saying? Like a white person can walk around being colorblind because their color never registers on the discrimination scale. They say it does. A tiniest loss of privilege feels like this major oppression, but white people can go around choosing to not see color because none of their experience is ever defined by their color. But like, man, if you don't see color, you can't even relate to the experience of people that are not white. I have to see color. Otherwise, every black person I run into, I won't even be able to see their experience. Only a white person has the luxury of being able to, oh yeah, this world's colorblind. Yeah, nice. For you it is. Everybody else that's not you is defined by their fucking color, boss. Everyone.
I'm not sure is going to serve the working class equally.
Well, let me ask you something. We did have affirmative action for many decades. Did it solve anything?
I mean, the question is affirmative action the solution to racism, right, in society? I think that's what the question is here.
So she responded with another question, but you know what? It did. It did do a lot of good shit. Did it solve racism? No, it did not. But did it increase the amount of people of color who got like higher education? Absolutely. Did it help increase the people of color finding themselves at the top of boardrooms and in the management class or being in government or becoming professors? Absolutely. Like, my God, affirmative action like provided incredible inroads that then also opened the doors to DEI, which then created opportunity for not just people of color, but for women, for the disabled, for, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so it led to an additional opening. And what's more, I think the other thing is as people of color and other marginalized folks rose and got into positions of authority, it started no longer appearing unusual for them to appear there, except to the racists like Charlie Kirk, who would see a black pilot and they would go shit themselves, right? It literally made it so it became normal to see a diverse workforce, And so I thought affirmative action was actually quite successful. But look at her face, dude. Look at her fucking face, bro. Look at how verklempt she is.
Yes, racism does exist. That does need to be at the intersection of the class battle. Anyone who denies that is just living in a fantasy world. However, when you, and this has been a really big problem, when you uplift or you prioritize how different and fractured we are from one another, when your politics becomes about not class war, but your own personal grievances, all you're going to do is cause fights. And that's what you see on the left constantly.
Dude, that's literally what MAGA does. See, the thing though that she's missing is because she said if you base it not on class war, but like, Anna, race is class in America. That's the problem. There is class. There's a class war with the billionaires and the working class. But in the working class, there's a class war between the white and the non-white. That's it. Race is a class inside the other classes. You can't talk about the class war in America without also acknowledging the class that is race. And you can't separate them. And there's a class war that has to do with gender, and there's a class war that has to do with, sexual identity. Unfortunately, most of this is created by the right wing. You know what I'm saying? Some of it is systemic, but some of it is exacerbated by the right wing making like people's immutable characteristics become political points.
Fighting each other, broken coalitions, fracturing, and basically where we're at today, which is nowhere. We have Trump, a complete buffoon, elected for the second time.
Somebody who you minimized the danger of during the entire election, Anna. Thank you.
Not just our country, but the globe as we speak. And so I was warning the left in the lead up to the 2024 election. Guys, this immigration issue is really hurting the Democrats. They got to take it seriously. I got attacked. Okay, all right. Well, when you see the shift to the Republican Party, hopefully you'll wake up to the fact that we've made mistakes and maybe we can change. Maybe we can do better moving forward.
Yeah. And now she's like polishing Tucker's knob. Oh, Tucker. Oh, come here. It's Anna. I'm going to put the shine on there. Oh, there you go. Oh, Cenk, spit on it. Oh, there you go, Tucker. Oh. Dude, she is crazy.
The Trump administration just get rid of a whole bunch of black and brown senior military officials recently who were up for promotion. Wasn't this a thing?
They got rid of a bunch of military officials that probably raised some red flags about what 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗃 wants to do in the Middle East. Definitely. There's no question. Yeah.
So you don't think that race was a part of that? You don't think
that is a problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem. That is a problem. I honestly don't want to spend my entire life and career harping on race. Okay, that's where I'm at.
Oh my God, look at that. Dude, the white passing woman, don't want to spend my entire life and career harping on race. Jesus. Dude, you know what? I do want to spend my entire career and my entire life harping on race and civil rights. I absolutely want to do that, guys. What the fuck, bro? I can't believe she just said that. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm white passing, so I don't want to have to spend my whole career like dealing with this like racial thing. I'd much rather go and like deal with like this working class thing, right? Because, I'm really like working class. Dude, that is like one of the most twisted things I have ever heard a fucking political commenter say. Like, bro. All right, here we go. Let's see it, dude. Oh shit.
No, that is a problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem. That is a problem.
Look.
I honestly don't want to spend my entire life and career harping on race. Okay, that's where I'm at. I'm an American. We live in a diverse country. Everyone needs to be treated with equality and respect. But at the end of the day, what pits us against each other the most are the elite, are those who steal money from every single one of our paychecks and funnel it to a foreign country so they can do atrocities, so they can expand their borders. Yes, I'm talking about Israel.
Dude, she's like, let me get off race here. Let me get back to Israel. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing the 65% of Memphis that are black that now have no voting power anymore. And Anna going in there to black Memphis and saying, you know what, guys? Have you heard what's going on with Israel? Like, are you guys in Memphis concerned enough about Israel? I know you can't vote anymore. And they're taking away your medical benefits and your kids, like, they're not funding the schools and shit. And you don't have enough to eat. But let's talk about Israel for a minute. Like, what the fuck, bro? Dude, I mean, it's not that Israel isn't a problem. But we can, chew gum and walk. And talking about Israel is not going to help the racism in America. And in fact, guys, what's funny is I think they are connected in a way, because if we actually dealt with the racism in America, we would probably then be able to acknowledge the inherent racism that is in Zionism and what's going on in Israel too, right? Because there is a bunch of racism in that imperialism as well. There was no Zionism when black people were enslaved here, okay? There was no Zionism in America when we enslaved blacks. In America, the racism in our system came first, guys. Zionism is a recent fucking problem. The racism against black people in America was like foundationally injected into all of our systems long before anybody knew what Zionism was. So like the racism is, you know, I believe is the foundational thing behind all of that. That if we, you know, once the black women are free, everyone's gonna be free.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a shit about race at all. At all. I don't think about it. I don't look at people and see them as a race. I see them as my fellow American. And I know that that's very offensive to some. I know some people want you to be obsessed with race. They want you to be thinking about race 24/7.
Dude, she's so bitter. Like, what the fuck, dude? Dude, I mean, now we see why you're with Tucker, because you're a racist hog, dude. Dude, she's a Confederate, bro. Like, Jesus. She's like resentful. I don't give a shit about race. I don't even care about race. Oh my God, dude. No, she's not trolling. She is like, she's Tucker Carlson, guys. They are Tucker now. Why is she so angry about it? I don't know, dude. She is triggered. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.